The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation, make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels, operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Spokane Fire District Number 9, Washington, on your new fire apparatus, job number 32335. Please utilize this job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. Let's get started on a brief orientation of your new apparatus. Starting at the front bumper, face of the front bumper has dual air horns right and left side. Located in the center, you'll find your electronic siren and PA speaker. Moving up from that location on the passenger side, you'll find a swivel 1.5" front discharge. Located on the driver's side, you'll find your mechanical siren. Moving up onto the apparatus body, you'll find on the left side your turn indicator and also your headlight cluster housing your low and high beam headlights. Moving up from that cluster on the right and left side, you'll find emergency warning lights. Moving to the outer edges of your apparatus, you'll find your mirrors, which house a convex mirror in the bottom and a flat mirror on the top. Located all the way up onto the top in the front bucket area, you'll find emergency warning lights. And all the way at the very top of your apparatus, you'll find your opticom. There's also a forward-facing floodlight. Here are some close-ups of those images that we just talked about. There's their front discharge, tubbed storage location for your hose. On the sides of your bumper, you'll find side-facing emergency warning lights. Moving up onto the top of the bucket, you'll find side-facing emergency warning lights. And on the side of the apparatus at an angle, you'll find on the roof line your emergency warning lights. Quick view of the entire apparatus. Let's look underneath the front of your apparatus in the bucket area. You'll find 2 rubber stoppers, a drain, your under bucket sprinkler, attachment points on the right and left side, 2 downward facing floodlights, and 2 access panels. Moving to the front of the front bucket, you'll find once again your emergency warning lights, 2 2.5 inches, which one has been reduced discharges, and also your large diameter master stream. You'll also find your rescue equipment attachment. Close-ups of the side. Let's go ahead and move now to the driver's area. This is going to be just inside the cab. You'll find your air inlet. On the side of the vehicle, this is going to be the driver's side, you'll find your battery voltage. This is a Kusmal electronic charging system. This is for your batteries. And an auto eject shoreline inlet, which is a 20 amp plug. You'll also find a side-facing emergency warning light. We'll move now to the midsection of your apparatus. Let's talk a little bit about some warnings. First, in the upper left-hand corner, you'll find an entanglement hazard warning for your hose. You'll also find only trained personnel should operate this equipment after using or seeking the owner's manual. The next is going to be a pressurized cap warning that caps can have pressure under them and there is caution when opening, and then also that you should not ride on the side of the fire apparatus. Let's start in the upper left-hand corner with your master intake on the left. In between the master intake and master discharge, you'll find your test gauge ports for vacuum and pressure. They currently have plugs located in them. And once again, on the right, the master discharge. Let's move to the right. In this gray area, you'll also find your pump boss. First, when your apparatus is properly in gear for pump mode, you'll find the throttle ready will activate in green. There is a check engine that will illuminate in the amber color if there is problem, and also a stop engine that will illuminate in red. As we move down through the menu, you'll find that on the left-hand side. You can scroll through the digital readout on your menu.
And then you'll also find you have all of your associated pressures, temperatures, and battery amperages on the digital readout on the center area. On the right, you'll find in red a silence button, and on the left, you'll find the pressure or RPM. You can select either one of those. To the right, you'll find the preset switch to allow you to preset your apparatus for certain pressures. And then you'll find in the center the push in for idle or turn right and left to increase or decrease throttle. Located at the top, you'll find a digital readout for your RPM. And then down in the lower right-hand corner, you'll find this module, which is a speaker, and it is adjustable. If your pump has been properly engaged, you'll find this pump engage green indicator. As we move through this set of switches, we'll start at the top with your panel lights, tip lights, driver side cab floodlights, passenger side cab floodlights, and then the on-off switch for your generator. Moving across, you have a variety of discharges. I don't need to name all of them for you, but they were color-coded and they are also clearly labeled. To the far right, you'll find the push-to-talk button and also a plug-in location for your headset. This is the warning here that only trained personnel should operate this equipment, and it's important to use your owner's manual for direction. There are two placards in this area. First, the red Watrous placard, which indicates your pump model and also transmission model and the date of manufacture. The other placard would be your Pierce placard, and this will be regarding your maintenance schedule for 150, 200, and 250 psi test pressures. On the left, you'll find your GPMs to the associated test pressure, and on the right, the RPMs. Please seek your owner's manual for more information on testing your pump. Let's go ahead and move through a couple of items here. First, there is a 2.5-inch discharge on the lower section here that we're pointing out. As we move down from that location, you'll find your 2.5-inch inlet. This is an auxiliary inlet. And then to the right, you'll find your large diameter intake. It is the Pierce American flag eagle logo. In the upper right-hand corner, you'll find your tank fill recirculating line. And just beneath that, you'll find your tank fill. As we move further down, you'll find your primer for your fire pump. There are some instructions underneath that. Moving to the right, you'll find your water level indicator. This is the amount of water in your tank. Just beneath that, in the next section down, you'll find a placard regarding the use and operation of your generator. Here are some close-ups of those items we talked about earlier. This is your driver's side auxiliary inlet. This is a 2.5-inch female inlet. As we move to the right, those are the generator operating instructions and also a caution label there. You'll find your minimum operation maintenance schedule. This is what we're referring to, the Pierce placard at 150, 200, and 250 psi. Beneath that, you'll find your pump drain, and then all the way down in the lower section, you'll find your manual pump shift. Down lower than that, you'll find all of your associated drains. Let's go ahead and move up to the very top. We'll talk about this compartment. This houses a variety of information. First, on the right-hand side, your breaker panel. This is for your G1, which is for your generator. It also houses your air compressor to maintain air compression or air compressor brake pressure. And then on the left-hand side, information here regarding the amps of your generator. Here's some close-ups of those. G1 stands for generator 1. It is the only panel. As we move to the left-hand side of this location, you'll find the air compressor for your brakes. This will maintain your brake when plugged into shore power. And then further to the left, you'll find also your amps for line 1 and 2. I would like to point out this label here. This is the location where your outriggers move in and out. There is the possibility of crush, and that's why there is a warning label here. Let's look to the upper right-hand corner. This is the dunnage area of your vehicle. Let's first start. This is your generator located in this area where the diamond plate is located. As we move just to the right of that, you'll find this small access point. Once you've gained access underneath this flap, you'll find all of your information regarding your aerial hydraulic oil. Also located in the dunnage area, you'll find your water fill location. Once again, there's that label regarding the possibility of crush, and to be cautious when operating your outriggers. As we move to the first compartment, you'll find you have a pull-out shelf on the very bottom, and in this tray, the right-hand side is the release mechanism. You'll also find, because this is an aerial device, there is a danger here of electrocution, and that's what this warning label and danger label are for. On the left-hand side, you'll find your blue DEF fill location. It's a 4.5 US gallon tank. In between the rear duals, you'll find 2 bottle storage locations, and then just to the rear, you'll find your silver cap, which is your ultra low sulfur diesel fuel. There is also an additional bottle storage location next to it. Let's move through some of the compartments here. First, starting at the very top, you'll find LED lighting inside those compartments and the ability for adjustable shelving. Toward the rear of the apparatus, just beneath this compartment, is where you'll find your outrigger pads. There are 2 pads located on this side, just as there are 2 pads on the passenger side. The location of your aerial outriggers are indicated in this image here. As we move to the rear section of your apparatus, let's first talk about your brake, turn, emergency light, and backup cluster, and then we'll identify several other things on the rear of the apparatus, including your traffic advisor at the very top, and on top of the traffic advisor you'll find the location of your backup camera. We'll also talk about the 2 pan doors located on the very back of your apparatus. The left is where your controls are for your aerial device, and the right will be the housing location for your supply line. There are also 2 rear-facing floodlights. Let's talk a little bit about some of the items here. First, on the left-hand side, you'll find a warning label regarding pressurized caps and the associated hazards while removing them. Located behind the Pierce American Flag Eagle is your aerial inlet, and then you'll find to the right the aerial inlet pressure. Just beneath that, you'll find the elevation angle from left to right from 0 to 15 degrees. And then as we move further to the right behind this pan door, you'll find your aerial drain. There are also 2 attachment points here. You can find these anchors have the ability for attachment, but there is a warning label above that regarding anchor failure, and to please seek the owner's manual for information on how to use those. You do have 2 puck style light switches here. There are 2 cupped. This is the deck lights on the left side, and then on the very far right you'll find your hose bed lights. As we look inside, this is the aerial drain location. This is for draining the aerial pipe. Let's move to the left-hand side for the controls. First, the gray area is your diagnostic interface, and then you'll find to the right your stabilizer power in green. You'll also find a protected switch, which is an override, and then further to the right, you'll find an emergency stop, which will indicate in red. Beneath that, you'll find your cord and also control module for all of your outriggers. We'll go over that next. This is your control module. You can see it's broken down into 5 distinctive areas. First, left front, right front, rear left, and rear right, and then you have switches in the center. What you're looking for is all green lights in this area. You can control your outriggers from all of the throttle and joysticks from this location for setting up your aerial for operations. Please see the owner's manual for more information. In the very rear of your apparatus, you'll find all of your extension and ground ladders in addition with long pike poles. As we move further to the right, this is on the right side. This is your hose storage location for your supply line. Located on the right-hand side of the vehicle, this will be the passenger side in the step area, you'll find your aerial override and stabilizer override and all of the rear stabilizer and front stabilizer controls. Just a quick note, there are high pressure hazards here, so be cautious, and also that there is a warning label here regarding tip hazard and ensuring that you set your outriggers out according to the owner's manual. Let's move up to the very top of the turntable. We're near the rotator gear. Just in front of that rotator gear or just behind the rotator gear, you'll find your adjustment for your air system. As we look at the base of the aerial ladder, you'll find all of your overrides for extend, retract, right and left, and lower and raise, and you'll also find the emergency power switch. This is your emergency stop PTO bypass. That is a switch just above the placard. Let's take a look at the pedestal itself. On the left-hand side, you'll find this first warning label regarding fall protection, and then you're also going to find a crush because of that aerial ladder movement. As we look just to the left, you'll find this black round audible speaker. Moving up onto the top of the pedestal, you'll find your intercom system, And then just to the right of the intercom system, you'll find a push to talk and also a port for your headsets. Let's take a look inside the lid of the pedestal. On the left-hand side, you'll find specific warning and danger, and on the right-hand side, you'll find all of your system operations. On the left, you'll find your emergency stop, DC lights on and off, under basket AC lights, aerial speed, ladder illumination, front basket AC lighting, and then your emergency hydraulic power. This section is broken into two areas. First, nozzle control, stream, and also right and left, and lower and raise, and then also ladder control for retract, left, right, and raise. Here's a close-up of your intercom system. Let's look to the left-hand side of the lid. You'll find this placard here regarding your 100-foot steel aerial platform. There's a information regarding the waterway dry or information regarding the waterway charged. There is also monitor nozzle positions, and then down at the very bottom you'll find capacities based on the following conditions, and this would include also operating in icy conditions. On the left-hand side of the ladder you'll find this indicator regarding from 0 to minus 10 degrees or from 0 to 80 degrees. This is the incline of your ladder. Just taking a look from the rear to the front of your three-piece aerial ladder, on the left-hand side you'll find a 14-foot roof ladder, and on the right-hand side you'll find storage locations. Let's move to the bucket area. First, you'll find attachment points here for personal safety. As we look also to the front, you're going to find all of your module controls. In the upper left-hand corner, you'll find a red push emergency stop. Here's a close-up of those modules. Let's first start on the left-hand side with the upper left-hand corner, the emergency stop, nozzle control, and then you'll find all of your aerial lighting and also aerial speed. To the right of this location is where you'll find the control module for the ladder itself. You'll find on the left it is the extend retract. In the center will be your right to left, and then on the very far right is the raise and lower functions. In the upper portion of this you'll find the release mechanism in case you'd like to relocate the control module to either right or left side of your bucket. Moving further to the right you'll find your Pierce command zone, and then just underneath that you'll find your breathing air, and to the left you'll find that audible speaker. This is your intercom system. You'll find controls for your intercom down at the lower section, including volume control. And the same as the pedestal, you'll find this placard regarding all of the weight for dry and wet, including wind conditions. And then you'll also find additional warning labels located at the very top of the bucket. On the right-hand side, you'll find storage location. And on the back section, you'll find a location for you to attach your module for control, and then also a scabbard location for your chainsaw. Here's some close-ups of those items that we just talked about. This is that storage bucket on the rear section of the ladder. This is a 15 amp plug. When your generator isn't operational, this will activate. Additional attachment points here on the left and right hand side. General view looking from the bucket moving toward the rear of the apparatus. And as we look at the nozzle functions, you'll find first on the left and right side you have a 2.5 inch discharge, and then as you look to the large diameter, your master stream device, you'll find a shutoff. We're now to the passenger side of the vehicle. In the rear you'll find a pull-out tray. This is the mechanism to release that tray. As we move through those compartments again, we'll find LED lighting. Some of the compartments have adjustable shelving. Depending on your spec, you'll also find bottle storage locations in the rear and in between the two rear tires, and also in front of those tires. Moving through some of the compartments here, I would like to point out this danger label regarding electrical hazard, and your equipment is not insulated. You'll also find in the front compartment adjustable shelving, and also in the upper right hand corner you have shoreline outlets for 20 amp plugs. This is when you're plugged into shore power, these will activate. In the upper compartment you'll find your battery tender. This is to maintain battery charge for your vehicle batteries. We'll talk about some of the compartments here. We're mid-ship location of your vehicle. first the upper left-hand corner, which is a pan door. Moving to the right, you have a cord rewind. Then you also have your large diameter intake. That's the Pierce American Flag Eagle logo. To the right, you'll find your large diameter discharge. And then further to the right, you'll find a 2.5-inch discharge. At the very top of that discharge, you'll also find a warning label regarding pressurized caps. Down in the lower section, you'll find all of your drains for this side of the pump panel. And then moving to the forward, you'll find the module for your cab lift. There is instructions and also information on how to operate your cab lift. Looking behind that pan door is where you'll find your foam drain and also access behind the panel. Go ahead and go inside the cab. To the rear of the engine cover is where you'll find this access point. This is where you can gain access for your daily checks for oil and also for transmission. There is also the ability to fill from this location. Looking overhead, you'll find push on and off white and red lights, and then you also have hangers for your headsets. Located in the compartments, you'll find LED lighting, once again, and adjustable shelving. You'll also find a shoreline outlet located in each side of those compartments. General view from the rear section looking forward. Let's go ahead and go now to the passenger seat on the right front side. Your vehicle is equipped with a supplemental restraint system, an airbag. This is a warning label regarding not to block that area, and this is the actual airbag location. Moving down, you'll find a glove box, and also to the right you'll find the fill location for your windshield wiper fluid. On the dash panel itself, you'll find from left to right your mechanical siren, air horn, and a push to talk. You'll also find 2 locations for 12-volt access. These are barrel style access points. And then to the right, you'll find the vehicle data recorder port. Let's go ahead and go overhead of the passenger seat. You'll find a few items here. Moving from left to right, you'll find your controls for your overhead light. This is the control for your go light, which is the overhead spotlight. Moving to the right, you'll find your intercom module. This is the control module for that. And then as we move to the dash area, first left-hand side, you'll find the control module for the driver's seat. This is that go light. And then just beneath that, you'll find operating instructions here for your generator. Let's move to the top of the panel here, where you'll find your control module for your siren and PA system. And then as we move down, you'll find your switch section here, which is your aerial master, your aerial generator PTO, your platform leveling, stabilizer cameras, generator on and off, tire chains, and load manager. Just beneath that, you'll find the climate control for your apparatus. Overhead, I would like to point out this center mounted light. This is for if lit, indicating that you have a compartment door open or ajar and that you should not move your apparatus. Let's move now to the driver's seat. Once again, at all points of entry, you'll find additional warning labels, and information on those labels are located at each point of entry. On the floorboard, you'll find your mechanical siren foot pedal switch. As we move up about left knee height, you'll find this module. This is the battery switch on and off in red. From the left, you'll find the regen inhibit, ABS diagnostic. The green is your engine transmission ABS diagnostic port. To the right, you'll find your display and tech module. And to the left, you'll find your DPF regen. Moving up onto the dash itself, left side of the steering column, you'll find your hazard lights, start switch, and ignition. To the right, you'll find your emergency master. This turns on or off all of your emergency masters at one point. And then you also have headlights and also your panel rocker switch for dim or brighten. To the right-hand side of the steering column is where you'll find your interaxle differential lock. And just above that, you'll find the OK to engage the high idle and also the switch. Looking at the dash, you're going to find first on the left-hand side your transmission, oil, DEF, and water temperature. In between, you'll find your tachometer and speedometer. And to the right, you'll find voltage, fuel, front and rear air, and then displays above and below regarding diagnostic information. To the right, you're going to find your system parking brake, push to release, pull to apply. To the right, you'll find your control command module. Tremendous amount of information here available for you. And to the right, you'll find your pump shift. There are two indicators, pump engaged and OK to pump. Those are both green. Down below, you'll find your engine brake on and off, settings for your engine brake. You'll also find off-road traction, front wheel lock, passenger side windows, and also your mirror heat. There are also some information caution labels here. Please see the owner's manual for more information on those. On the right, you're going to find your flat and convex mirror controls, and to the left, you'll find your push to talk. Up from that, you'll find your digital readout Allison transmission pad. Overhead, we'll talk a little bit about some of the items here, but first let's start on the very far left-hand side with this placard in yellow, which is the height of your vehicle, 12 feet 3 inches, the length of your vehicle, 47 feet a quarter inch, and your gross vehicle weight rating is 80,800 pounds. If you make any additions or revisions to this, please update this placard. To the right, you'll find your emergency master, roof light, front warning, side warning. You'll find your lower rear warning, upper rear warning, the Opticom, which is once again located on the ladder, and also your high beam flash. Moving slightly to the right, you'll find an additional set of switches. These house your air horn, driver's side cab flood, passenger side cab flood, siren brake, driver's side flood, passenger side flood, deck lights, hose bed lights. Moving just to the right overhead, you'll find your traffic advisor. And as we look between the seats in the passenger and driver side, you'll find these outlets. Looking from the rear of the apparatus, you have two rear-facing SCBA seats, and located in the driver's section, you'll find this placard. This is manufactured by Pierce Manufacturing. This has the information regarding the job number, date of manufacture, gross vehicle weight rating, in addition with your VIN number and all of your fluid capacities, components, and fluid types. Congratulations, Spokane Fire District Number 9, Washington, on your new ladder truck. If you have any questions regarding the content of this video or any future questions, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. Congratulations.